Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make a cake tart. So this is a pastry case with a sort of vanilla or a sponge type cake, but an orange flavoured one inside. And between the pastry and the cake, I'm going to put a layer of chocolate hazelnut spread, that Nutella type spread, and that will make the cake complete basically. So we'll have the pastry, the chocolate hazelnut spread, and then the cake. Should be very, very good. And for this I'm going to use an 8-inch round cake tin. Mine has a loose bottom. You can do it without a loose bottom, and you can just slice it and take it out of the tin. But I'm going to do it with a loose bottom so that I can actually remove that from the tin in its entirety basically. So it's not a difficult recipe, but there are the 3 distinct phases to it, because we make the pastry and then we line the pastry case, put the chocolate hazelnut spread in, and then we make the cake batter and put that in as well. So I'll go on to the ingredients. And for the short crust pastry, I have 160 grams, which is 1 2/3 cups minus 1 tablespoon of plain flour. That's based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup. I have 50 grams, 1/4 cup of caster sugar, 113 grams, 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, which is cold and cubed. I have the yolk from 1 medium egg, which would be large in the USA. I have the zest from 1 orange. I have 1.5 grams, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 30 millilitres, 2 tablespoons of cold water. And for the cake batter, I have 90 grams, 2/3 cup, minus 1 tablespoon of plain flour, again based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup. I have 60 grams, 5 tablespoons, minus 1 teaspoon of caster sugar. I have 3 medium eggs, which would be large in the USA. The zest of 1 orange, a pinch of salt, and 22 millilitres, which is 1.5 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And then I also have here 150 grams, which is 7 tablespoons or thereabouts of the chocolate hazelnut spread. You can use Nutella, you can use own brand ones, whatever you want basically. So the first thing I need to do is to make our pastry, and for that I'm going to use the processor bowl of my immersion blender. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my flour, my sugar, my salt and my zest into the bowl. I'll just give it a bit of a shake, put the zest in, and I'm just going to pulse that briefly just to get those combined a little bit. And that's good like that. So then I'm going to add my cold butter, and did I mention that? Yes, 112, 113 grams, 1/2 cup. I'll give that a shake again, and then I'm going to pulse that until it resembles fine breadcrumbs basically. and that looks good like that. So then I'm going to put my egg yolk in, and most of my water. I'm going to hold back a little bit, maybe 2 teaspoons. Don't need to use it all necessarily, so I'll add the extra, the remaining water if I need it. I'm now going to process this and scrape the bowl down if I need to, until the mixture starts to clump together into a soft dough. And that took virtually no time at all. So I'm going to turn that out onto my work surface, and I'm just going to knead it just a little bit to make sure that everything is mixed through nicely and it's nice and soft. I can see that. So I'm actually going to roll that out and put that into my cake tin. And it's very, very soft. So I've got some plastic wrap here that I've put on my surface, and I've floured that, and I've floured the dough as well. I want to roll it out to a circle which is probably about 10 inches, which is 25 centimetres in diameter, fairly roughly, because I can patch the dough as I need to. So I can see that that's large enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just roll that up a little bit, and put the base of my cake tin underneath it, and I'm going to roll that on, and then I'm just going to pull the dough up like that. That's good enough. And I'm going to pick my base up and put it into my cake tin. Like that. And then I'm going to lift the sides up and make sure that the dough is right down to the base all the way round. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to prick the base all over, like that, and I'm going to put that into the fridge and I'm going to chill it for 45 minutes. I want this to firm up so that it doesn't get pushed around when I spread my chocolate hazelnut spread on it. So I'm going to chill it for 45 minutes, and as that time comes to an end, I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit, and it will be ready then to take the cake as soon as we've mixed our assembled the pie, having mixed our batter as well. So my oven is preheating, my pastry has chilled, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my chocolate hazelnut spread into the pastry, and then I'm going to spread it over the base. And I'm going to put that back into the fridge so that it can chill while we make the batter to go inside the pastry case. And you can do this by hand, making this batter, but I'm going to beat the eggs until they're nice and voluminous, and by hand that would take a good 10 to 15 minutes in all probability. You could use a hand mixer, it would make it slightly quicker, but I'm going to put the eggs into my stand mixer, and I'm going to add my sugar, and I'm going to add the salt, and I'm going to whisk those until they start to thicken. So that's been whisking for about 2 minutes, and it's started to increase in volume, but I want it much more voluminous than that. So I'm going to continue whisking it, and I'm going to put in my orange zest as well. So that's now been whisking for a further 5 minutes, so that's about 7 minutes in all, and it's nice and thick. And I'm going to pour my oil in, and I'm going to whisk all the while as I pour that in slowly. And then I'm going to fold in my flour, and I'm going to try to do that as gently as possible so as to knock too much air out of the eggs. And I'll sprinkle it in a little bit at a time. I think maybe a couple of spoonsful at a time, probably in 2 or 3 additions. And I'll fold that through until the flour is incorporated. And I think that's good enough. So then I'm going to take my pastry case again, and I'm going to cut off the excess around the edge, and then I'm going to put my batter in. I'll spread that around, just like that, to level it. And I'm going to give it a little tap on the counter, just like that. And then I'm going to put that into the oven, and I'm going to bake it for between 35 and 40 minutes until the pastry has cooked through and the cake has risen nicely on the top and got a nice sort of light golden brown colour. And at that stage I'll test that cake part with a skewer, and if it comes out clean I'll take it out of the oven and I'll leave it to cool down for a while, then I'll come back and show you the results. I baked the cake tart with the chocolate hazelnut spread for 40 minutes. It rose nicely, it domed, and then once it came out of the oven it flattened very slightly, but that often happens, but it still looks very, very good. So I left it to cool in the tin for 20 minutes, then I took it out of the tin and put it onto a wire rack, and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like now, and I've actually cut a slice so that you can see it, but it looks very, very good. So I'll have a taste of this, please. It's very, very light cake and a very tender pastry. Very, very tender pastry. And then the chocolate hazelnut spread gives it a sort of almost a denseness. As you chew it, it combines into the cake. Very, very good. I can also taste the orange zest as well, and orange goes very well with the chocolate flavour. So I actually think that I would like this very much served as a dessert with some custard over the top of it. So excellent, I think. I should say that I based this on one that I saw on an Italian website, but I used a different pastry, and I used chocolate hazelnut spread where that called for a chocolate cream or something. It may have been the same thing. And I used orange zest instead of lemon zest because I think orange goes well with chocolate. So I'll put a link to that original recipe below the video as well. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.